Hi everyone, I'm Angela Hallford of FurtherMoreLiving and a member of NACWE Elite Group, and I just want to welcome you here today as we continue to talk about unboxing the gift of you. Last 2 weeks, we have talked about that this box represents you. You are a gift to so many people, and your gift is very unique as the snowflakes. You know, it's really hard to do this on a phone. I need a bigger screen to show you everything, but I'm going to do my best today. I am a mother. I am a Christian, the child of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. I am a mother to 2 adult children. I have grandchildren, and I love being in ministry with my husband for 33 years. We got married 33 years ago, and God has gifted me with this message that you are a unique gift, and you have talents that help define who God created you to be and what He has created you to do. So I'm glad that you're here with me today, and I just pray that you can begin to unbox the gift of you. As we talked last week, as you take the lid off, there's lots of other gifts inside. And today, the particular gift that we're going to talk about is your gift of your leadership style. Had you ever thought of your leadership style as being a gift from God? You have a unique leadership style. It is what makes you lead and helps you lead the people that are in your life, that are in your circle of influence. Leadership is often defined as influence. So you could start by asking yourself, who do I influence? Now, I know I've heard this before. Some of you are saying, oh, I don't influence anybody. Well, I promise you, you influence many, many people. And if you'll stop and think about it as we go through this short little lesson together, you will know who you lead. I want to tell you about one story of a young teenager that was in our church. And she came up to me one Sunday after church and she said, Miss Angela, I want to thank you and Mrs. B and Mrs. J, and she named like 3 ladies, Mrs. C, because y'all always come up to me and greet me during the welcome time. Y'all talk to me before and after church, and you make me feel welcome, and you make me feel special. And you know, none of us ladies were thinking about, I'm going to go influence this young teenage girl. We just used who we were, and we went, and we helped her. We encouraged her. We influenced her. And in turn, she began to grow and turn around and influence others. Then she went to youth camp and was able to influence the teenagers younger than her. So you have influence. Little eyes are watching you. And sometimes those little eyes are in older adult bodies. They're watching you. Our senior adults in our church, of which I'm quickly becoming one of, they watch our young people, and they see our young people and their enthusiasm and their excitement about loving the Lord and serving the Lord, and that encourages them. So you have an influence somewhere. It's probably in your family. You probably influence and lead in your family. And Paul said, the Apostle Paul says in Scripture, follow me as I follow Christ. So think about, where am I going? If I'm going somewhere, who's following me? Or who do I need to try to influence to get them to go with me on a wonderful, positive journey? I think you're going to begin to see that you do have the gift of leadership style, and that it is very, very important. we have talked in the past, I'm going to put my leadership box down and pull out one of the other boxes from the gift of you, about your temperaments. Your temperaments and your leadership style are very closely entwined. If you are a dominant, decisive, direct, demanding type of person, that might reveal a little bit about how you lead. You might be one of those leaders that's just very direct. This is what we need to do, and this is how we get there. And there is a difference between being having a dominant leadership style and being domineering. Domineering is when you take it out of control, when you let it get out of control, when the Holy Spirit, if you're a Christian, is not leading your life and you're living according to the flesh, then you will get out of control and your leadership style will be out of balance. But they're very positive qualities with your leadership style based on your temperaments. If you are an I type temperament, you are influencing, you are inspiring, you are intuitive, you induce others to action. And so think about, is that your style? Is that your temperament? How does it translate into your leadership style? You want to be someone that inspires others. You want to be one that encourages others to step up to the plate. And sometimes you have to get out there in front of them and show them how. And I's are wonderful at getting out there and showing us how to do things because they love the fun. I type personalities and I leadership styles keep the fun in things. And so if you're an I and your leadership style is in that type of vein, go with it, use it. Just be sure to let it be spirit-led and not led by the flesh, because then it can get a little wonky and can get a little irritating to others who don't appreciate as much of your influence as you have. But then there is the S type of leadership, the S temperament, and the S leadership style. If you are an S, your characteristics are you're going to lead by being very supportive. You're going to offer suggestions for people to follow. That's where a D might say, this is how it's done. Very demanding, very direct. You're going to offer suggestions. Well, I would like to suggest that our group go this place this week for our monthly meeting. Or I would like to suggest that the family come to my house this Sunday for dinner, where other styles would say, no, party at our house. That's the I. The D's would say, 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, our house. Or they may say your house because they are direct, they are decisive. But each leadership style, each temperament has its place. C's are ones that want all the T's dotted, all the T's crossed, and all the I's dotted. See, I'm a C. I had to go back and correct myself. We want things correct. We are concerned people. People with the C temperament and the C type of leadership style are going to be concerned about the others that follow. And I'm not saying that the other temperament and leadership styles are not concerned. They are, but it's more in the nature of a C leadership style to be concerned. We want quality. We want correctness. We're very conscientious and try to be constructive in what we say and do. But a lot of times we can be critical. And that's one thing to watch out if you're a C temperament and with your leadership style is that you don't become too overly critical. Yes, there's sometimes when there needs to be some critique, but it doesn't need to be critical. So as you think about your leadership style and your temperament, remember, if you know one, you can kind of understand the other. I want to go back, though, now to the leadership style, just the leadership style for a minute. And I want to ask you, who do you relate to? What leadership style do you think is yours? If you've got a piece of paper and a pencil, write it down real quick. Who do you relate to? Now ask, do you know what your leadership style is? That's a yes or no question. Yes, I know my leadership style. No, I don't know my leadership style. How would you describe your leadership style? All right, now we're going to do something fun. We're going to take our leadership styles, and you're probably wondering, why is she wearing that silly pink hat with the bow? Because a lot of people think as leadership as related to the hats you wear. So I'm going to take this hat off. I don't know what hat this would be. I guess maybe this would be some throwback party. I've had it for years. Or just a fun outfit. Maybe. Or if you like to wear hats to church, maybe it would be a good church hat. I don't know. I've always liked this hat. Thought it was kind of cocky, spunky. So I'm going to take this hat off, and I'm going to put on another hat. Because I imagine that most of you listening here are women. And you have families, and you wear lots of hats. Well, I'm going to put on another hat. Or try to. This is my chef's hat. And I'm going to make it cocky because I want to be a little cocky today. How does a chef lead? How does a chef influence? Well, how do you, when you're preparing meals in your home, or we have a lady at our church that prepares meals for our Wednesday night suppers. How does she lead? How do you lead? Maybe you work at a soup kitchen or passing out meals to people during this awful time of the coronavirus when people are hungry and out of work. How are you leading? You're probably leading by example. You're probably leading through your expertise if you're a chef. Or you may be just the mom that's frazzled and fried and is just getting in there and just trying to get something nutritious on the table for the kids. Or it may not be even nutritious this day, but you are serving your children. So a chef serves. He inspires. She inspires, a chef does. We think about the TV chefs. My daughter and I love to watch the HGTV channel and to see the chefs and the decorators and all those things. And they bring inspiration. Remember that I temperament? Inspiration, they inspire us. Well, you know, that recipe didn't look so hard. I might could do it. As an entrepreneur, you might be inspiring someone to create something new. So put on your chef's hat of influence and influence people. Inspire them. Teach them. Chefs teach. You can put on your chef's hat and teach. I don't really have a good teacher's hat because most teachers don't wear hats, but most anything we do teaches. So you can influence through teaching, through inspiring, through encouraging. So as you cook a meal today or next week, or as you go out and pick one up to bring home for supper tonight, think about, how am I serving? How am I influencing? How am I leading? Are you leading your children to make healthy food choices? Or are you caught up in, yeah, I'm just stuffing in whatever I want? You know, that's one thing that I really have to watch out for is, am I being a good influence by teaching my children, my grandchildren, excuse me, on what is good for them? And spiritually, are you feeding? Are you feeding other people the Word of God? The testimonies that you have given, that you have to give, that He's given you? That's a way to influence. So I'm going to get rid of my chef's hat for a minute. And I'm going to come back with my chauffeur's cap. I'm ready to put you in my limousine and take you to the ball. Probably not. I'm ready to put you in my car and take you to Vacation Bible School. I'm ready to put you in my car and take you to dance lessons. I'm ready to put you in my car and take you to your gymnastics lessons. I'm ready to put you in my car and take you and me and a whole bunch of us to the NACWE convention in September. You don't want to miss it. It's great. So a chauffeur is one who leads. They direct where people are going. I mean, you can tell them your destination, but they're the ones that are going to get you there. In entrepreneurship, sometimes you get stuck on what you need to do, and you need someone to take you from point A to point B so that then you can go to point C and D and keep your ship moving. Sometimes as young mothers, as a young mother, other young mothers I see, they need a little help getting from point A to point B to point C with these young children. And they haven't had the experience of going that route yet. So we can sit in the front seat, or we can quietly sit in the back seat with our chauffeur's hat on, and we can help them get from point A to point B to point C. So whether you're a mother, whether you're a grandmother doing the chauffeuring, whether you're a brother or sister doing it, whether you're an entrepreneur, or whether you're a homeschool teacher, or one of these brand new homeschool teachers that are teaching at home because of this season of life that we're in, you can chauffeur. You can help get people from one direction to the next direction and move along their path of success. You can be a success driver in other people's lives. And so think about it. Are you wearing a chef's hat? What influence are you having? And who are you influencing? Hi, Darcy. I just met Darcy last year at the NACWE conference, and she was a great influence on my life. She's a beautiful artist. She has a great influence on me and caring for her mother, which I'm in the same state of my life. And so thanks for tuning in, Darcy. I know that you know what a chauffeur's hat is with 2 teenage children. Let's see. Oh, sorry, my other hat fell. I don't know. This is my Kentucky Derby hat. I don't usually wear it, but just occasionally when that comes around, I found it and I decided I wanted something fun. And my daughter and I wore them last year during the Kentucky Derby. Or maybe this is your funeral hat. Maybe. Most people don't wear hats today in times of mourning, but there are times when we mourn, and when we mourn with others, you can have influence during that time. I remember a time when my best friend lost her husband very suddenly, and just being by her side and mourning with her day and night for a long time was the influence I had in her life. And we as a family had an influence in her son's life during that time and during that season. Also, the people that brought food in, that came to the service, that gave calls and letters and just were there silently to encourage. You don't have to be a cheerleader, one that likes to jump around and be super excited. If your leadership style is just that calm, quiet, soothing, don't disregard it. It is a wonderful way to lead people in just showing that you care in the quiet times, in the needy times. So whether this is your fun go out on the town hat, your Kentucky Derby hat with the feathers, or you're going to some special ball, which just is not my lifestyle, or whether it's mourning with someone, you have influence. You have leadership style. Give it all you've got. Give it to God and let Him bless it. I have a couple of more hats here. This one. All right. This is a baseball cap. Yes, it's my alma mater. I'm an Aggie. If you live in Texas, you know about the crazy Aggies. But I'm proud to be an Aggie. And this hat, though, this style of hat, is worn by moms when they jump in the car and they carry their children to all these different practices and events. It's worn by the coaches of the teams, the dad and mom coaches, the professional coaches. We think about them having influence and leadership style of coaching, and they're teaching, they're influencing as they coach. What else about a coach? This type of hat, a ball cap, a sports cap, how does that represent leadership styles and influences? What if it represents the fans in the stands? They have a lot of influence. If the crowd is roared up and standing behind their team, they're ready to go. They're going to perform better. If the crowd gets deflated and defeated and they're not cheering on their team, then the team is not going to have that extra oomph that they need to get them over the finish line, or to hit that home run, or to catch that catch, or to score that goal in hockey. I'm not a big sports person, so I don't have a lot of analogies there, but the sports mom, the sports coach, the business coach, the entrepreneur coach. Karen coaches us a lot in NACWE, Karen Linwall Board. She is our coach. She cheers us on. She gives us instruction. You know, maybe you are a professional coach. You're wearing a hat. You have influence. You share your knowledge, your light, your inspiration. You may do it from a very soft-spoken, stable approach. Someone told me the other night, they said, your voice quality is one that would relate to me when you're coaching me, because it's soft-spoken and it would get me out of my flurry and tizzy and panic. But yet sometimes people need coaches that are much more direct, much more decisive, ones that can cut through and show them their needs and how to get past them. Or you may need somebody that's just your biggest inspiration. They just pump you up every time you get with them, and then you're ready to go on your own for another week. What do you need in a coach? What do you need to be doing as a coach? What do you need to be doing as a player? You're a player in your business. You're a player in your home. Where are you? What are you doing? How are you using that to influence others? We know these professional players on these professional teams. Oh, how they inspire our youngsters. I want to be like so-and-so, or I want to be a first baseman like, and you fill in the name. I want to be a quarterback. They are an influence. And yes, some of these heroic sports figures are good influences. And sadly to say, some of them are bad influences. They're poor influences. And we need to come alongside others when they're looking up to those people and help them to get things in perspective. So, you know, that person has a lot of talent, that person has a lot of ability, and they can influence you to do great things, to follow in their footsteps. But we need to always say, but let's look at their lifestyle. How is their lifestyle? What could you do different? Instead of completely following in their footsteps, but do something different that would enable you to be a better influencer, to have a greater leadership style, to use your own particular leadership style. We don't need to take over someone else's. We need to come free with our own. My last hat that I want to put on is a crown. And This is from my daughter's childhood days. She was and is still a pink girl. But I love to wear this in presentations on leadership because it reminds me that I have influence. It reminds me of my position. Because Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, I am seated with Him in heavenly places right now. That was my devotional yesterday as I was reading, and I was in Ephesians, and I thought, I really am sitting in heaven. I've known this before, I've thought this before, but it impacted me with a new way, that I am seated beside Jesus, who is seated beside God the Father in heaven. Why do I fear? Why do I worry? My influence should be one to encourage everyone else. Come be a part of God's family. Come sit on the throne. Come sit at the feet of Jesus and learn from Him and get all your guidance. Everything you need is supplied by Him. As a child of the King, I'm adopted into His family. I am an heir. I have an inheritance in heaven that I can't even begin to fathom. I'll be honest with you. I just don't even have a clue. But I can walk in grace. I can walk in truth as a child of God, as one of His daughters. And that's the influence I need to be having on the world, that I'm a child of God. I'm an heir to the kingdom, that I can walk in grace and truth and peace and love and joy and forgiveness. So I want to know, where are you a queen? Where are you a princess? Are you a part of God's kingdom? If you're not, would you please just message me, Angela Hallford at FurtherMoreLiving.com, and I'd be glad to talk to you about it. Or just text me a message and I'll message you back. Go to FurtherMoreLiving.com and I can help you out. But I want to see other people live out their leadership styles to the best of their ability, to be great influencers of others. And I hope my little quirky talk today using the hats has helped you to think about, who do I influence? What is my influence style? How does that describe me? And how does it affect others? I do have a little gift for you. If you have not already downloaded it, this is a little gift for you. You can go to FurtherMoreLiving.com/free inventory, and you will get a little 2-page inventory sheet that you can download. We'll ask you for your first name, last name, and email address, and then we'll send you an email, and you can download this little 2-page inventory. And basically what it is it goes through a couple of questions, yes and no questions and fill in the blank questions, about how much you know your talents, your temperaments, your ambitions, your leadership styles, your experiences, your needs, your natural abilities, skills, and talents, and your spiritual gifts. And I think this is so important for you to download this. The reason I do is because I couldn't talk about leadership style today without talking about temperaments. And I even pulled out the experiences box. They all fit together to give the complete package of the unique and wonderful you that has been created. I want to help you unbox the gift of you. Here's a little diagram. I hope you can see it. This is your talents box. As you see at the bottom, it says you, and at the top is your temperaments. I'm sorry, I'm a little shaky today. Let me put the other things down. It's a tower of boxes that represent you. Temperaments, ambitions, leadership styles, experiences, needs, your natural talents and your learned talents and abilities, and your spiritual gifts. All those boxes are gifts from God, and they are inside you, inside your big box of gifts. You know, you are as unique as every snowflake. So please take a moment and download your talents inventory. It's free. Fill it out. Think on it. Pray over it. And ask God what areas you need help with, what areas you need a little more understanding about, and where you are influencing, where you are leading. And go for it. Lead, ladies. Lead, gentlemen. Lead. We have a purpose here on earth and a purpose for eternity. Let's lead well. Thank you for joining me today. See you next Wednesday at 12 Central Standard Time. Bye.